we're Joville lads, all in one mind. We've come apace again, we hope you'll prove kind. We hope you'll prove kind with eggs, brass and strong beer, and we'll come no more at you until the next year. Fall a day, fall a day, fall a little day, I-oh. Here stands the old miser with his baskets and bags, for fear of his money he wears his old rags. He wears his old rags with eggs, brass and strong beer, and we'll come no more at you until the next year. Fall a day, fall a day, fall a little day, I-oh. Go down in your cellar and there you will find your barrel's not empty, we hope you'll prove kind. We hope you'll prove kind with eggs, brass and strong beer, and we'll come no more at you until the next year. Fall a day, fall a day, fall a little day, I-oh. Now eggs are not scarce and they are not so dear. If you'll give us a base egg, we'll wish you good cheer. If you'll give us some money like Joville lads free, we'll treat all your lasses on Easter Monday. Fall a day, fall a day, fall a little day, I-oh. Now Easter is coming, that's all for this year. We'll pray for your children and wish them good cheer. So mind what you're doing and see that you're right. If you give us note, we'll take note. Farewell and good night. Fall a day, fall a day, fall a little day, I-oh.
Try another. Go on, right? Oh, the huntsman and the whipper-in, some lads had worked on farm, wanted a day of hunting, so they went to Dyer's Arms. And some did nought but grumble, and some did nought but grouse. They'd never known pub as Dyer's Arms, but only as White House. Life for life, a laddie for life, a laddie for life, a laddie for life, a Ken Greeny was the huntsman, Neil Pogson was a whip, and Ernest Yates the Slowit were looking very fit. And when 10:30 came along, Bob Lockett shouted out, "You'd best bring Thownstead front at pub, it's time that we turned out." Life for life, a laddie, life for life, a laddie for life, a life for life, a The day were Easter Monday, and it were rather warm, and th' huntsman said to whipper-in as not to cause alarm. Just watch the cows and watch the sheep and watch the poultry too, and if we see a fair young maid we'll give her oh, life for life, a life for life, a life for life, a life for life, These hounds they made a splendid show as they swept down Weaving Side, across the road to Bar House and up the other side. They quested to a gallant hare, poor puss she had to run. Vic Lockett cried, "Tow, tower lads, the sport had then begun." Life for life, a life for life, a life for life, a life for life, These hounds they hunted all day long, the sport was very fine, until a whip called Oakswell cried, "It's nigh on opening time." So the huntsman blew hard on his horn and gathered up his hounds. "Let's wend our way to Whiten, lads, and leave these hunting grounds." Life for life, a laddie for life, a laddie for life, a life for life, Dorothy Blakeney was our hostess and did us rather proud. with damn good ale and sandwiches for that assembled crowd. And tap oil being well nigh full, best room were crowded out. Some supped their ale on flags outside, teetotalers did without. Life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole. Roger Broadbent sung a silent song and did us wagon wheels. Archie Cameron did tap oil, were dancing Scottish reels. Brian Pearson played piano, he banged down hard on keys. It sounded as though he were playing with his elbows and his knees. Life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole. Fred Butterworth sung out Towler and did a fancy trick. His face it turned through normal, to colour of a brick. And when he reached his top note, when he sang A Stag Must Die, Thorn Valley Lot joined the chorus, way up at Isle Sky. Life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole. And like all jolly evenings, the end it had to come. We'd hunted, sung and supped all day, we'd had some damn good fun. And we all sang Auld Lang Syne, me lads, our voices all did blend. The season 55 and 6 had now come to an end. Life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole, life a life a lairole.
Friesland Ale. Whene'er I drink of Friesland Ale, drawn from an old brown bottle, I feel as if a summer's morn were running down me throttle. A pint of sunshine at a swipe, both sparkle, grip and metal. There's nothing like good home brewed ale for keeping folks in fettle. There's nothing like good home brewed ale for keeping folks in fettle. There is no ale from barley brewed with half so rich a flavour for English folks and English soil in every drop I savour. It does not tie the legs or feet, nor set the head a tupping. It makes a ploughman feel a king because it's royal supping. It makes a ploughman feel a king because it's royal supping. It floweth from the bottle's mouth in foam like cream but richer. It bubbles up in bunches rare like roses in a picture. But never roses half so fair, so dewy, cool and sappy. A mellow pot of Friesland ale would make a gate post happy. A mellow pot of Friesland ale would make a gate post happy. Whene'er I drink this mellow brew, with malt and hops in plenty, I'm 10 year younger with a pint, and if I've two, I'm 20. The laughing stream runs down me neck, and drowns teetotal taking. I'd go to chapel twice a day if Friesland ale were preaching. I'd go to chapel twice a day if Friesland ale were preaching. There is a lass on yonder hill, lives at an old farmsteading, so fair to see I've often thought I'd take her to a wedding. But women folks are hard to please and fond of fine apparel. If here I wed, I'll take for wife a good old Friesland barrel. If e'er I'm wed, I'll take for wife the good old Friesland barrel. The man who drinks good Friesland ale grows ruddier than the cherry. He walks on daisies all his life in sunshine bright and merry. For old King Time goes hand in hand with Friesland folks are laughing. He knows their hearts will ne'er grow old as long as they keep quaffing. He knows their hearts will ne'er grow old as long as they keep quaffing.
Now here's to the fox with his earth below the rocks, and here's to the line that we follow, and here's to every hound with his nose upon the ground, as merrily will whoop and will hollow. So drink, puppy, drink, let every puppy drink, that's old enough to lap and to swallow. For he'll grow into a hound and will pass the bottle round, as merrily will whoop and will hollow. Now here's to the horse and the rider too, of course. Here's to the rally ho the hunt, boys. Here's a health to every friend who can straddle to the end, and here's to the tally-o in front, boys. So drink, puppy, drink, let every puppy drink, that's old enough to lap and to swallow. For he'll grow into a hound and will pass the bottle round, as merrily will whoop and will hollow. Now here's to the gap and the timber that we wrap. Here's to the whitethorn and the black too. And here's to the pace that puts life into the chase, and a fence that gives a moment to the pack too. So drink, puppy, drink, let every puppy drink, that's old enough to lap and to swallow. For he'll grow into a hound and will pass the bottle round, as merrily will whoop and will hollow. Now the pack is staunch and true, now they run from scent to view, and it's worth the risk of life to limb and neck, boys, to see them dive and stoop till they finish with a whoop. 40 minutes on the grass without a check, boys. So drink, puppy, drink, let every puppy drink, that's old enough to lap and to swallow. For he'll grow into a hound and will pass the bottle round, as merrily will whoop and will hollow.
Now then, we're all singing hunting songs. I'll sing one little one of mine about the hound pup. It had bugger all to do with hunting, mind you. Now when I was a young lad, my dad gave to me a little hound puppy and its pedigree. We've always been pals from the day of its birth. It would follow me right to the end of the earth. And when I went courting with my sweetheart Sal, she'd bring her mother and I'd take my pal. We would sit holding hands in the park, don't you see? My sweetheart, her mother, the hound pup and me. Now I went and got married one day for a change. My pals all came round from the Labour Exchange. We played postman's knock, we had drinks by the score. There was 12 of them lying dead drunk on the floor. But when it was time, they all bade us adieu. And I'll tell you, I felt in a terrible stew. There was only one bed in the house, don't you see? So she slept with her mother, the hound pup and me.
Now just 9 months later, that old Dr. Spragg came around to our house with his little black bag. The wife was upstairs with her mother, you see, whilst playing below was the hound pup and me. The doctor came down and he shouted with glee, the lady upstairs, she has had triplets 3. And what is the cause of this misery? I said the missus, her mother, the hound pup and me. Now since these kids came, they have caused me much pain, and the things at our house, they're not quite just the same. Before they arrived, it was all harmony, for the missus, her mother, the hound pup and me. But now things are different, I'm sorry to say. They're screaming all night and they're fighting all day. So I'm taking my hound pup and its pedigree, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea.
Now a German clock mender to London once came. Benjamin Screw was the bold German's name. Up and down streets on his way he would wend, crying out watches and clocks for to mend, with his tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai. He mends them by night and he mends them by day. Now he met this fair maid way down in Peel Square, who told him her clock was in need of repair. So he took her straight home then, and to her delight, in less than 10 minutes he'd put her clock right, with his tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai. He mends them by night and he mends them by day. Well, so into bed they got with a jump, when at the front door there came a big bump. In walked the husband, and to his great shock, he found that bold German winding up his wife's clock, with his tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai. He mends them by night and he mends them by day. Then up spake the husband to his wife Marianne, why do you employ this big fat German man to wind up your clock whilst I sit on the shelf? If your clock wants winding, I'll wind it myself, with me tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai. He mends them by night and he mends them by day. Now the German was hot, but the husband was cool. He took out his penknife and he sliced off his finger. And now that bold German, in the course of his life, will ne'er wind the clock of another man's wife, with his tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai, tooralai, ooralai, ooralai. He mends them by night and he mends them by day.
My name is Joe, the carrier's lad, a merry chap am I always am contented, be the weather wet or dry. I snap my fingers at the frost, I whistle at the rain. I brave the storm for many a day, and will do so again. Oh, crack, crack goes the whip, I whistle and I sing. I sit upon my wagon, I'm as happy as the king. My horse is always willing, and I am never sad. There's none can lead a life more gay than Joe the carrier's lad. My father was a carrier 20 years ago. On Thursdays to the market almost regular we would go. Sometimes he'll take me with him, particular in the spring, and there I'd sit upon me box and hear me father sing. Oh, crack, crack goes me whip, I whistle and I sing. I sit upon my wagon, I'm as happy as the king. My horse is always willing, and I am never sad. There's none can lead a life more gay than Joe the carrier's lad. The girls, they all do smile at me as I go driving past. My horsey is a beauty as he trots along so fast. So many a mile we've put behind and happy days we've had. There's none can treat a horse more kind than Joe the carrier's lad. Oh, crack, crack goes the whip, I whistle and I sing. I sit upon my wagon, I'm as happy as the king. My horse is always willing, and I am never sad. There's none can lead a life more gay than Joe the carrier's lad. I never think of politics or anything so great. I care not for that I break talk about the church and state. But they act as right as man to man, and that's what makes me glad. You'll always find an honest heart in Joe the carrier's lad. Oh, crack, crack goes me whip, I whistle and I sing. I sit upon my wagon, I'm as happy as the king. My horse is always willing, and I am never sad. There's none can lead a life more gay than Joe the carrier's lad. Whoa! Hey! There's a bright rosy morning peeps over yon hill, sweet blushes adorning the meadows and fields, whilst the merry, merry, merry huntsman cries, come, come away, awake from your slumber and choose the new day. Whilst the merry, merry, merry huntsman cries, come, come away, awake from your slumber and choose the new day. See, the hare runs before us, and away seems to fly. She pants to her cover, the hounds in full cry, crying, follow, 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 to that musical chase, with triumph and vigour our sports to embrace, crying, follow, 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 to that musical chase, with triumph and vigour our sports to embrace. Now the days were all spent over with joy and delight, and brings to each lover fresh charms for the night, crying, let us, let us, let us, let us Be merry whilst we may. Let love crown the night as sweet sports crown the day. Right, let us be merry whilst we may. Let love crown the night as sweet sports crown the day.
With Bowman, let's go to yon cover below. He drives old care far away, and rouses a fox from out of yon rocks before the dawn of the day. Bold Rennet shall die, Tommy Teasdale did cry, as he went up yon striding extract. There's no fox in the land that's able to stand that knows that old Ullswater Park. At the break of day, Joe Bowman's away. You can hear his loud tally-ho, and the valleys resound for many miles round as a fox he breaks cover below. His hounds they cry, like lightning they fly, as they take the scent up the track. There's no fox in the land that's able to stand to that note at old Ullswater Park. Here's music through from the scent to the view. Old Crowner leads the van. Then there's Merriman and Matcham, determined to catch 'em. Defy these hounds if you can. Then there's Champ and there's Trixie and Caracas old Listy, with all the young blood on the track. There's no fox in the land that's able to stand to that note at old Ullswater Park. Up the rugged steep they nimbly leap, with tails as straight as a wand. Over moorland and mead no sheep they heed, each hound can take command. At the prowler's brush they make a rush, as they rattled him out on the track. There's no fox in the land that's able to stand to that note at old Ullswater Park. His foam they gore as he bowled him more, right out on yon wide open plain. A stout fell fox from out of yon rocks was worried again and again. Hip, hip, hooray, Joe Bowman did say, as he homeward made his track. There's no fox in the land that's able to stand to that note at old Ullswater Park. Before I close these lines of praise, there's only one wish I could say to old Hunty and Hound. May good luck abound, and he'll hunt for many a day. And the hunter's hail may never it fail to follow Joe Bowman's track. There's no fox in the land that's able to stand to Joe Bowman Ullswater's Park.
Anybody know Saddleworth? Well, this is about Saddleworth. Between Dobcross and Denshaw, at foot of a steep hill, a chap bit named Renshaw once ran a fulling mill. With cottages surrounded where handloom weavers dwelt, the pieces they were pounded, well they were thick as felt. Now Renshaw's hands were never sullied with any heavy work, but 5 labourers he bullied, and he kept 'em up to mark. There were Soft Joe and Alan Wicket and Long Ned and Frederick Green and the apprentice Jimmy Snicket, a youngster of 15. One more there were at Pegdon, at the double as a rule, and this was a four-legged one, the famous Renshaw mule. With very little feeding, yon hills it had to climb, and lug with Jimmy leading, 4 pieces at a time. Now Renshaw had a fashion, a flaring up lark out, and getting in a passion either for summat or for nought. And red with indignation he'd rant and rave and shout, and in exasperation he'd fetch Soft Joe a clout. Now in full in-room tradition, disregarding right from wrong, in order of position, such clouts were handed on, right down to Jimmy Snicket, who, brought up in third school, considered it were ticket to wallop Renshaw's mule. When Jimmy came a cropper, he'd take loose leg from stool and land it good and proper on poor old Renshaw's mule. And Muley trotted faster as Jimmy paled his rump, saying, "That's from the master," with every single thump. Now Renshaw never reckoned that an animal so dull had be waiting till Tom beckoned to pay him back in full. One night that patient creature were grazing out it field, when to its een some feature were temptingly revealed. For Renshaw, passing that way, with his pockets full of brass, had slipped on muddy pathway, and he lost some coins at grass. And as with shocking verbiage he coarsely carried on, a rooting in the herbage he sought them every one. And as at some yards distance he sought last threepenny bit, eager and persistent, he peered all round for it. But his pose invited trouble, for Renshaw, like a fool, were bending almost double, and with his back to mule. When mule this target spotted, right carefully he came, with tender tread he trotted, and turning, took good aim. Both hind heels struck together, and Renshaw, brass and all, went flying hell for leather, clean off at meadow wall. With his head and shoulders hidden in a mound on t'other side, rating his neighbour's middin, he swallowed more than pride. And if by chance unchastened he intends to pale his mule, we'll leave him there unfastened, for good, his heels to cool. And in some way adorning, conclusion if you like, and serving as a warning to all hot-tempered tykes. Thank you.
Master Smith says to John, do you know where we can find an old hare there is that will well please our mind? Oh yes, said John, let's go try yonder dell. An old hare there is, and I know she can run well. And I know she can run well, and I know she can run well. An old hare there is, and I know she can run well. When Comely gives mouth, I will have you all to mind. We shall not be long ere an old hare we find. She's up, she's up, she's up, and away, away, away. When the hounds they are in chase, there's no time to delay. There's no time to delay, there's no time to delay. When the hounds they are in chase, there's no time to delay. No opening of gates, no taking down of gaps. When the hounds they are in chase, there's no time to do that. But over them we go, make the best of our way. When the hounds they are in chase, there's no time to delay. There's no time to delay, there's no time to delay. When the hounds they are in chase, there's no time to delay. Master Woodman on his grey, he rides hard up to John, but he cannot overtake him, nor once can him throng. At the tail of his hounds, then Jack is whipped it crack. That's the beauty of all hunting, and away with 'em, Jack.
and away with 'em, Jack, and away with 'em, Jack. That's the beauty of all hunting, and away with 'em, Jack, Jack, Jack.
I mind the day when tally-ho first sounded in my ears. 'Twas in the days of long ago, back in my former years. The day was fine, the scent was good, the hounds were a splendid show. The world was fair and I was young when I first heard tally-ho. The world was fair and I was young when I first heard tally-ho. Hey ho, many a year ago, I used to gallop with the best to the cry of tally-ho. Faith, I didn't care a button if the pace was fast or slow. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And now that I am growing old and youngsters pass me by, yet I love the music still of hounds when in full cry. As over moor and over fell the winter winds do blow, I do my best to hobble on to the cry of tally-ho. I do my best to hobble on to the cry of tally-ho. Hey ho, many a year ago, I used to gallop with the best to the cry of tally-ho. Faith, I didn't care a button if the pace was fast or slow. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. I'm waiting now for tally-ho to show the final track, that every hunter has to go and never one comes back. So let this be my epitaph when they lay me low. Here lies a jolly hunting man who loved the tally-ho. Here lies a jolly hunting man who loved the tally-ho. Hey ho, hail or rain or snow, here's health to all the jolly pals, the pals I used to know. And here's to every hunting man who loves the tally-ho. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Thank you.
Now Nancy was a tinker girl who roamed the country roads, and I'll tell you how she came to be a legend in her time. And the reason that I come to know, well, the tinkers told me so. Who better than to pass to me this tale of Nancy Miles? Nancy's father, Tinker Dan, he was a poor but honest man, drove a horse-drawn caravan all through the Emerald Isle. When Nancy was no more a child, Dan he didn't have to toil. Men would come from far and wide to pay for Nancy Miles. There's pretty girls in magazines, movie stars and beauty queens, but Nancy was the prettiest girl a man could ever see. And the gleam of love in her eye, when she looked at you and smiled, she'd make you think that you were just the man she longed to see. Before the age of 21, 100 men had come and gone, but none of them could win the gleam of love that was in her eye. Every man who loved her then, he never was the same again. His memories were haunted with thoughts of Nancy Miles. In every town and village too, the fame of Nancy grew and grew. Soon her name was spoken at many a campfire side, and in Ballinasloe on Horse Fair Day, when tinker men would have their way, many a fight was fought to win the courts of Nancy Miles. Now I hope that you don't get me wrong, Nancy was the sweetest one. Her heart was full of kindness and as gentle as her smile. She was known throughout the land, the queen of all the tinker clan. 'Twas the dream of every man to marry Nancy Miles. Before the age of 31, 1,000 men had come and gone, but none of them could win the gleam of love that was in her eye. Every man who loved her then, he never was the same again. His memories were haunted with thoughts of Nancy Miles. Then there came the saddest day, when Nancy's father passed away. His loss it grieved her dearly, and her heart was filled with pain. Family, friends, and courting men, they never saw her smile again. A change had taken place within the heart of Nancy Miles. Before the age of 41, Nancy, she had come and gone. They searched the country over, not a trace of her was found. But Nancy's memories will live on as long as tinker men are born. Proudly they will sing to you the song of Nancy Miles.
Abroad for pleasure as I was a-walking, it was one summer's evening clear.
Abroad for pleasure as I was a-walking, it was one summer's evening clear.
'Twas there I beheld a most beautiful damsel, lamenting for her shepherd dear, lamenting for her shepherd dear.
'Twas there I beheld a most beautiful damsel, lamenting for her shepherd dear, lamenting for her shepherd dear.
The dearest evening that e'er I beheld was ever with the lass I adore.
The dearest evening that e'er I beheld was ever with the lass I adore.
Wilt thou go fight yon French and Spaniards? Wilt thou leave me thus, my dear? Wilt thou leave me thus, my dear?
Wilt thou go fight yon French and Spaniards? Wilt thou leave me thus, my dear? Wilt thou leave me thus, my dear?
No more to yon green banks will I take thee, with pleasure for to rest thyself and view the land.
No more to yon green banks will I take thee with pleasure, for to rest thyself and view the land.
But I will take thee to yon green gardens, where those pretty flowers grow, where those pretty flowers grow.
But I will take thee to yon green gardens, where those pretty flowers grow, where those pretty flowers grow. But I will take thee to yon green gardens, where those pretty flowers grow, where those pretty flowers grow.
Right.